I'm just gonna sip my tea. It's not actually tea. It's strawberry milk because I'm a grown up and I can have anything I want.
Nice. Hello, I'm Sister Babeushka with the news.
What is the news?
That we've got a fantastic show ahead us today.
That's not new, that's old. We've got a fantastic show every time. And I'm Sister Alaska Lots.
And this is Utter Nunsense.
Yes, it is. This is the show where we pour a cup of tea.
And we say whatever pops into our heads.
Oh, we say it, do we? We don't utter it anymore.
No, we say it. We shout it loud and proud.
We say it like it is.
And that's the tea.
This is basically a laid-back chat between friends.
And a new episode is uploaded once a month, every month, on the first of the month.
And in case you hadn't noticed, we are drag nuns.
Holy shit! So we are.
I think you mean holy fuck.
Well, she's gone, isn't she? This means that we should hopefully know a thing or two about choosing drag names.
So today, we are going to help you with choosing your own drag name.
Drag names can be empowering, exciting, and are often the first step towards creating your entire drag persona.
In fact, our first act as we became drag nuns was to choose a drag name for ourselves. And we have even changed our names during our sister journeys. So we've had more than one name each.
Hold the fucking bus! Are you telling me that Sister Alaska Lot isn't your real name?
Shocker! No, surprisingly, I've not always been known as Sister Alaska Lot. I earned that name.
In this video, we'll walk you through some of our tips and tricks we learned over the years on how you can choose the perfect drag name for your drag identity too.
And we'll also be sharing with you the stories behind how we chose our own names to give you a little bit of inspiration.
Spicy.
My real name is actually fuck you.
Oh, is that French? Oh, I love French.
Let's do it, fuck you. Don't know why I'm doing the Italian hand.
I didn't realise Europe was all just one place now.
I panicked.
Apologies to all our French and Italian listeners. Spanish people, watch up, you're next. Diving straight in, as Shakespeare might have said, what's in a name?
First impressions count, and your name is often the first thing that people will learn about you in your drag persona.
So, the first step in choosing a drag name is to decide what kind of name you want.
For example, do you want a punny name like Betty Swallows or Free Delivery?
You know, I didn't get free delivery when I was reading it, and so I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. What? And then I'm like, I'm just going to trust the process. And then now that you've said it, I'm like, oh, I get it.
I really surpassed myself when I came up with that one.
Or do you want something more glamorous, like Crystal Chandelier or Gaga Gorgeous?
I was quite proud of that one too.
Well done.
I have a very long list of names.
You're just going to drag name everyone in the future. They'll just come to you.
I'd be surprised if no one else had thought of Gaga Gorgeous, actually, because that's too good to have missed. Surely, someone must have it.
Well, you never know.
We're about to find out because I'm going to Google it now. There's nothing obvious coming up, just Lady Gaga. It might actually be available. If you choose a name that matches your personality style, you're more likely to be happy with it for years to come.
Next thing to consider, your drag persona.
It's about personality, hunty.
Think of what skills you are bringing to the stage to help ensure your night is hitting the right marks. Are you a fierce queen, a comedic king, or someone looking to use their drag as an activist act?
Your drag name should reflect your personality and the type of performance that you want to do.
For example, if you're a fierce queen who loves to slay on the stage, You might want a name that's powerful and strong, like Athena Rain, or Phoenix Fury, or Theresa May, who is very strong and stable.
Slay, Theresa May.
Sashay away for those wheat fields, bitch.
On the other hand, if you're a comedic queen who loves to make people laugh, you might want a name that's funny, playful, maybe a little bit naughty too, like Mona Lot or Ivona Tinkle.
And remember, it's probably best not to use a name that maybe gives a false impression, using a dancing name such as Miss Foxy Trotter when your main act is comedy routines. You want to make sure that people associate your work with your name after all.
Now, when you're looking to come up with a new drag name, you want to let the creative juices flow.
Oh, I let my juices flow all the time.
Oh, so juicy.
Utter Nunsense is going to be rated XXX at this rate. Another tip that we've used is to brainstorm a list of potential names.
This is something I actually did myself when coming up with the name Alaska Lot. I have a list with literally hundreds of possible names, some of which we used as the examples in today's episode.
And some of which will never see the light of day.
No, there's some terrible names on that list. Terrible.
So, when you're doing this, write down anything that comes to mind and play around with different combinations until you can find the perfect name.
Inspiration can strike anywhere, in a dream, in the shower, as happened to me once, on the bus. Just make sure you always have your list of ideas handy so you can write down ideas before you forget them, which is what I do most of the time, the forgetting.
You may even find your name in a line from your favourite song or movie, a favourite character, or even your favourite food. One of our fellow sisters uses the name Fade de Grey due to it being a reference to one of the best 80s songs.
We've also come across another sister who chose their name from the infamous Rocky Horror Picture Show and called themselves Sister Anticipation.
Always leaves you wanting more, doesn't it?
There is more to the name, I can't remember it.
And don't be afraid to ask for feedback from your friends or fellow drag performers, because they can let you know which names might be keepers and which ones are maybe never to see the light of day off that list.
Babeushka was very forthcoming when looking at my list.
That's not punny.
Nope. Oh, that's terrible.
God, you make me sound like such a negative Nancy.
I mean, you also helped me choose ones that were better.
Now, when choosing a drag name, you want to make an impression.
One thing I always recommend is to choose a name that's easy to pronounce and easy to remember.
You want your audience to be able to remember your name and come back to see you again, which is a lot more difficult if they have to remember 5 different parts to the name.
Or if you've got like 5 different names that you're known as.
Which one is that? Is it her? No, it's her. No, it's her. They're all the same person.
Consider how you can make your name more memorable. For example, you might use alliteration or rhyming to make your name more catchy, like Jackie Jizz or Lily Love. Would you prefer that I said Jackie Jazz?
No, I love Jackie Jizz. She's the life of the party. Or perhaps choose a name guaranteed to make them laugh, like Poppycocks, so it's more likely to stick in their memory.
I quite like Poppycocks.
It was quite nice. She's much more of a lady than Jackie Jizz, I'll tell you that.
Oh no, Poppy's all about the cocks.
Oh.
Also, if you're going to be going national or even international in the future with your work, do be aware of what might get lost in translation. Local references are all great and everything, but is it something only a small section of people you meet will get? If so, might be best to rethink the name.
As well as thinking locally about your name, also consider the international implications. As our longtime friend of the show, Brother Bimbo, found out, Bimbo actually has racist connotations in German. And so actually they choose a different name when going in German-speaking countries, as well as at their events, to make sure that they're not accidentally offending people. And so it's always best to double check with your name, are there any places that you're going to be performing or you expect to perform where that might construed as offensive and thinking, is that really the right impression I want to make with people? Answer is no, it's not. So dinna be a cunt.
And of course, the biggest tip of all is simply be yourself.
Can they really handle the real me?
If they're still watching this far through the video, I think they're here for it. So
yes. Finally, remember that your drag name is a reflection of your drag persona and your personality.
So choose a name that makes you feel empowered, confident, and fabulous.
Your name is your brand. Make sure that it is one that you would be happy with as you continue on your journey.
So at this point, if you are still struggling with how to come up with your name, then let us share the story of how we chose our own names. Maybe it'll give you some inspiration.
Although you know us as Sister Babeushka and Sister Alaska Lot. Shade. These weren't our original drag names.
So let's talk about how we chose our original drag names and what we did differently when it came to choosing our current names.
When I started as a young drag nun, I went with the name Shady Lady. Now, this was partly due to not really knowing what I wanted my persona to be at the time, but knowing I wanted to do something kind of funny that would make people laugh. There was a Facebook group that the sisters have where people can put in names that they've thought of. So I saw one and I was like, oh, I'll take that. That sounds good. I'm a little bit shady anyway. So it all works out in the end.
And your original name wasn't even remotely inspired by anyone. You didn't steal anybody's name.
No, there was nobody in my life that could have been associated with that name of Shady Lady whatsoever. There were no shady ladies in my life.
Now, my original name probably had a lot less thought put into it. When we initially joined, we were asked immediately what names we would want to choose for ourselves. And in true fashion, I panicked. And the first words out of my mouth were, holy One of the other sisters turned around and went, holy fuck, that's a great name. And therefore, I was known as Holy Fuck for several years. Pure accident. That's what that name was.
And this is why you always let your friend go first at social events so that they can be the guinea pig.
But of course, we have both changed our names since then. So, Babeushka, why did you change from Shady Lady to Babeushka?
Oh, wow. I'd seen the errors of my ways in being an utter cunt to people and decided to change my life. No, that's not the reason. Still shady, just under a different name.
Very little has changed.
It was a funny name. It was very punny, but it also maybe gave the wrong impression of what I wanted to do with the rest of my sister journey, in that I didn't just want to be seen as somebody that would give a scathing remark. I can do other things while still doing that. There were several things that then went into this because I had time to think about. I wasn't under time pressure to give a name after just joining. So I had several years to think about it. And so my thinking that went into it was, one, an inspiration of the fabulous music by Kate Bush.
I was genuinely expecting you to break out into song.
Not today. But also as a reminder to myself that although I am very privileged in being able to do this very freely in my country and being able to openly express myself, there are countries around the world where that is not possible for members of the queer community. And so what better way to carry that with me than referencing a Russian granny, where we know that Russia is maybe not the most friendly to the queer community. Although I have this privilege, I should be using it to then push for that privilege to be given to everyone in the queer community.
And let's not forget that you wanted to honour your homeland of Ukraine.
As a Ukrainian national, I lived in Chernobyl for many years. I'm very sad about the war. Putin, you're a cunt. Totally from Ukraine. But anyway, Alaska, dear, what led you to change from the marvellous holy fuck to Alaska Lot?
So I'm going to be honest, holy fuck was a lot of fun. Every time I said my name in front of people, they would erupt in laughter. And that brought me a lot of joy. I think it brought them a lot of joy too. However, as time went on, I started to notice that I was also being censored, particularly when it came to the media. If they took photos, they would ask me to hide my name badge so that it wasn't visible in the picture because it has an expletive in it. And I grew more and more irritated with having to hide my name. I didn't feel that that was something that we should be doing as outspoken, visible people in the queer community. So I need a name that nobody is going to censor. Spend a lot of time writing a list of every idea that I could think of. Every time inspiration struck, it would go down on the list. And eventually I narrowed it down, and Alaska Lot was the one that won out. And the inspiration behind Alaska Lot was actually my own personality. I ask a lot of questions. I drove my parents crazy. I drove my friends crazy. I drive my partner crazy.
I think you missed out that your co-hosts here are also driven crazy by the questions.
You love it.
Well, I wouldn't be a masochist if I didn't.
But I think questions are to be encouraged. And I want you to ask lots of questions. I want me to ask lots of questions. And the most important question is asking for consent. So questions are a positive thing and should be encouraged. And I will continue to ask a lot. The most random questions.
Like, could you order a pizza during World War II?
Can spiders be sick?
We definitely have went through some wonderful tangents with your questions. I'll give you that.
I'm just a very curious person and I just need to know.
So I think clearly from both our stories here, the final lesson is to not be afraid to change your drag name as you evolve as a performer. Your drag persona will grow and change over time, and your name should reflect that growth.
And that's it, folks. We hope that you found these tips helpful with choosing the perfect drag name for yourself. And remember, your drag name is the first step towards creating your drag persona. So choose wisely, but also know that nothing's ever set in stone. And most important of all, have fun.
Yay!
Because we clearly are having fun. Are you having fun, Babeushka?
So much fun. Thanks for joining us for this lovely chat. If you've enjoyed the show today, make sure to give it a like and make sure you subscribe.
And of course, if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to come back next time for our next episode, which is going to be about...
I think next time we're going to be talking about LGBTQ plus representation in media.
Who doesn't love a bit of queer representation?
Bigots. Bigots don't. Make sure to check us out on all our socials. They're down below in the links.
I think we've done the thing.
We've done the thing.
We have done the thing.
Thanks, Joan. We've done the thing.
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 We've done the thing.